Hi, Bob McGilpin with Talk of the Tone, and today we have a Harmony Archtop guitar made in the USA. I love that part. And if we look inside the stamp there, we can see that this is a 1963. It's in really, really nice condition. It's been a little bit refurbished. There was a slight crack here that has been very professionally repaired. Can't feel it at all. You can see just a little bit in the finish. And a place or two where the top had shrunk, but it is rock solid front and back. Through here, as you can see, the neck is aligned perfectly. You want to have a good slope here because you want to put tension down on the top. You don't want it too flat because you're not going to put any tension on the top. At the same time, you don't want it too high because you put too much tension on the top. But checking it out, steel reinforced neck. Literally, you could probably drive a Cadillac over this. And checking it out, the neck is straight. I've checked the action at the 12th fret, and it is right between 0.07 and 0.08 at the 12th fret, which is great for this kind of guitar. The high E, just about the same, and this is a wonderful sounding guitar. Now the thing about Archtop guitars, around the 1920s they started adding guitar. They got away from kind of tenor banjo, that ragtime sound, and they wanted to fill out the orchestra with a guitar, but the standard flat top with the O-hole did not cut through. So an Archtop guitar, they carved it like a violin top and back out of thicker wood, so it's got a really focused mid-range. And some people listen to that and they go, wow, it doesn't sound like the regular acoustic guitar, but that's on purpose. It's got to cut through with that nice mid-range, that focused mid-range, and that's what they needed in the orchestra. Old days they started with a 16-inch bout. That's what this is. I think Stromberg, to make them louder, they went to a 19-inch, which was a huge guitar. But they wanted that mid-range focus, and that's when they introduced the floating bridge. So if you wanted to be louder in the orchestra, you brought the level of the strings up a little bit, and you played harder. So that was the volume control back then, because nothing was electrified. But once again, the action on this is great. The finish, I tell you, Stu Mac makes some great things. This is the original finish, but you know how they tell you to polish your guitar after you put it away, because you get fingerprints that builds up the oils, and after a while the finish looks real dull in that. And if you can't just take a rag and breathe on it and clean it up, I mean, this is 50-odd years old, being in 1963, that Stu Mac, you won't mess up your finish, but you will restore it and bring it back to its luster. So being a over 50-year-old guitar, front and back neck looks absolutely beautiful. So, but more important than that is, what does it sound like? Well, it sounds like a great Archtop. So let's take a listen. It's real sweet, and it's got that focus mid-range that that cuts through in that orchestra, or will cut through a dense track if you're playing kind of that jazz. But up and down the neck, there are no buzzes, sweet blues. Really sweet guitar. Like I said, 1963, looks and sounds great. Oh, and it's got a case. So kind of a little piece of vintage history here. Harmony made a lot of these. Very rare that you find one in this nice a shape that doesn't need a neck reset or a lot of work to make it playable. This thing, well, it's had some work done, but it is very, very playable. Up and down the neck, no fret buzzes. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The Harmony, made in the USA, steel reinforced neck, 1963, beautiful. Well, Bob McGilpin with Talk of the Tone checking out. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little bit of the history of the Archtop guitar. And they're not quite as popular today, of course, with the rock musicians, but they are making a comeback with some of the guys that really know tone and really know guitars, and they got to have it as part of their repertoire. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. Come back and see me sometime. Alrighty, bye-bye.